evening, everyone. I made a short poem. I've actually been writing poems since I was a little girl. I never realized they were poems because I would always try to make songs, and then later on I'd be like, wow, this is just poetry. This is not a song. But other than that, I'm happy to be here to express my point of view about anti-racism through poetry. Just like coffee, humans sprout from earth. Different kinds created by different grinds. Millions from many places, a variety of different tastes. Backgrounds of roasts from East and West Coast. The blend doesn't matter, nor the amount of cream or sugar you scatter. Try to balance the bitter with a little sweetener. A dash of milk or a dash of honey. Your preferences are fine, and every mug is lovely. Everyone loves a cup of warm or hot brew, but no one likes a cup that's cold, no matter the hue.
Good evening, every beautiful body here. How you guys doing? My name is David Ian Jung Lovera Wong Perez Masaki. I am, I'm an Edmontonian foremost. First generation Canadian, born in Montreal, raised right here on Treaty 6 territory. Born to Peruvian parents who were born to a mix of Chinese, Japanese, Inca, and Spaniard people. So, but what I want to talk about is what's going on around us in our communities, because I am an Edmontonian first and foremost. So, my people have been colonized, marginalized, shit, even I'm scrutinized for the shape and size of my eyes. But I don't let it hold me down, so whoever you are, and wherever you come from, own it. No more genocides, let's keep the dialogue going. Why are First Nations forced to forfeit and sacrifice what is sacred? Land, sky, rivers, and lakes manage to take it all without ever asking. Thankless corporations want to wipe the slate, displace an inconsidered faceless race. Generational gentrification, dustily dehydrated, must be fate, inheriting hate. Addicted, little or no patience. Scooped up, cooped up, screw up, stupid, suicidal, and wasted. Living hidden. Sorry. I gotta start over again because I'm diabetic, so I'm up here. Alright. Why are First Nations forced to forfeit and sacrifice what is sacred? Land, sky, rivers, and lakes manage to take it all without ever asking. Thankless corporations want to wipe the slate and displace an inconsidered faceless race. Generational gentrification, dustily dehydrated, must be fate, inheriting hate, inflated rates, limited education, addicted, little or no patient, scooped up, cooped up, screw up, stupid, suicidal, and wasted, living hitting history you won't find in the paper pages, or racist on a daily basis. Been going on for ages, victimized and still I rise. I can't come to terms in these conditions, twisted in this position, stuck in the system, so shout out to whoever's listening. I speak up for the voices missing. You'll pick and which, choice is limited. But no more piping down like a timid kid. Your big business, stick your pipeline in the business end. Bullied me before, but now I'm armored with thicker skin. This time is ticking almost down to the last drip. It might be split, so I'll have to learn to sip it. Who's trying to trade commodities for necessities for commodities? A supply left dry, all the money couldn't buy. Undisclosed amounts won't pay for another round. It's not worth the thirst, and will wash the taste of the mouth. So I'm hoping the CEOs are those running the show. No, I don't walk alone. No more I pose. Cleanse your soul. This is where roots grow, and I'm not taking a lower toll from an overflow. And all I know is I don't owe mass control and can't afford to stack up on stocks of our H2O. I'm so exposed to the elements, so I spoke up because genocide is prevalent. Out loud, you're allowed to speak on the hell you're living in. That's why I try and live, because I've been given a gift. And now I'm given a little more, a warrior with an infinite inner force.
Alright, so I'm going to preface this by saying my mom is Muslim Bangladeshi. She's from the Chakma tribe of Bangladesh. Not a lot of people know about us, but I'm a Desi girl. So white as shit because I'm half Irish as well. But don't mind my skin. But anyway, so this is a love letter to my mom. It's on my phone because I don't really consider myself a poet, but I'm also very nervous because lots of people do this. So anyway. Alright, mama lessons. My mother is the color of cardamom, cinnamon, and oak trees. Her blood runs in my veins, her fears in my dreams. I walk beside her proud, hoping that I am the good daughter she never wanted. She tells me I'm everything. I'm light, I'm pure, I'm clean. She tells me that she's mud, she's brown, the blood moon. I am beautiful, she says, the color of milk and black tea, the color of gold and pure crystal, the color of my white father, just the way she wanted me to be. Thousands of years of oppression speak to me through her words. I'm Chakma. We are the people of the hills. That's what we're called. I'm tribal, I'm native, I'm Paki, I'm a chink. Depends on who's looking at me, right? There are many words for people like us across the continents, imposed by the people who continue to believe that we deserve subservience. You are beautiful, Pabi. My daughter's skin is so white, mashallah. My auntie says, blessing me with my skin, as she dabs fair and lovely in doses, with concealer 4 shades too light. You are beautiful, so fair. That is the battle cry we brown women project onto our light-skinned daughters thinking they're protected. You are beautiful. This is the belief, this is the dream, this is what we need. Light women, fair women, moon-skinned goddesses to carry our internal fears over the threshold. I am beautiful, Mom, but you forget. I'm only beautiful because of you. You are the color of cardamom, of cinnamon, of oak trees and fresh forests, of earth, of life. You are the color of the life giver. I am beautiful, Mom, because you blessed me with the gift of color.
So much. Hey everyone, how's it going? Good, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say shout out to this whole festival. This is amazing. Can we give them a round of applause? So, this poem is called Poem. I know. But hopefully, in spite of its name, you guys are open to what I have to say and that you guys are willing to hear from my heart. Honestly, I don't usually write poems about racism, but I did today. Today, I remember the little black girl that peered into a glass that seemed to sneer back at her in disgust. See, my parents thought I didn't wake up on time because I was lazy, but really I just didn't want enough time to look in the mirror for too long. Today, I remember the girls that asked me why my hair was that way. I remember the boys that would unrelentingly remind me that I was less because my hair was more. I remember pretending it didn't faze me, but it fazed me. Because I found myself leaving the house every morning with couplets of coiled curls and curse words under my tongue. I remember hating the first day of school because introducing myself meant repeating ma-ha-lit about 20 times. And yes, I know it looks like mallet and it's just pronounced differently in my culture. And thank you for your suggestion that there should have been another A after the H. I'll be sure to let my parents know that they made a mistake. Only to finally settle for a 3-letter nickname so that they won't be bothered. You know, after about 4th grade, you begin to grow tired of the repetition and the mispronunciation of your identity. I I remember the teachers that supervised us a little more than the other kids because we liked to dance at lunch. I remember the 7-Eleven owners that kept a close eye on us, and when they asked us to leave our bags at the front before walking in, I remember them saying they were just doing us a favor. I remember boyfriends that felt like they were doing me a favor. I remember that being afraid that if I kissed his cheek too hard, I might leave a stain, that if I stood too close, he might smell the coconut oil in my hair, and when I looked into his eyes, I was afraid that the brownness of mine could reach out and infect his. I, finally titled white boy's girlfriend, I thought they would finally see me eye to eye, thought I was finally equal, thought before being with him, I didn't have the right to be. Thought I was too dirty. Until the day that I had the realization that I had to come to a place of appreciation of how sexy my pigmentation is. No longer afraid of what my mirror had to say, I began my exploration of the beautiful melanin engraved into my skin like sonnets in Shakespeare's writings, but you've crossed 14 lines. Because today, I have grandparents who wonder if anything has even changed. I have cousins too afraid to walk home in the dark. I have brothers and sisters with instant reflexes to raise their hands when they hear sirens, and fingertips far too afraid to dial 911 to state their emergency. We have black hoodies that we're too afraid to wear now. They're collecting dust in our drawers. This is an emergency. We have been trained to be ashamed of this melanin we're selling, and no one's listening, so we're yelling, but that's just expected of us, right? A little too much volume, a little too much attitude, a little too much pants sagging, a little too much class failing, a little too much troublemaking, a little too much hair changing, not enough hair. And like a name that's too hard to pronounce, no one likes to call this racism. We'll nickname it stereotyping so that we won't be bothered. See, honestly, I don't usually write poems about racism, but I had to today. Because today, I was sitting on the bus, and I saw this elderly lady sitting in front of me with a grocery bag, and there was, on our left were 3 African men and women speaking in their native tongue, but I was transfixed on this lady sitting alone. So I contemplated saying hello and hesitated to ask how her day was going. See, I've noticed how much easier it is to be the replier than the initiator. But I will never forget and forever regret that moment of hesitation, because in a moment's notice, without hesitation, she spat out 3 days worth of discrimination. The minute her mouth opened, the stone was rolled away. It was the resurrection of racism. She said, "Stop speaking in that language. Speak English. You're in our land now. We speak English here." And they weren't even bothered. They just pulled the cord to get off, and she said, "Good. Go." She said, "Go back home." She yelled at them to go back to where they came from, as if rebuking a demon. So don't tell me that racism is dead. It's not. It's way past its expiration date, but it was never best before. We need to stop comforting ourselves, saying we were much worse before. And I'll be the first to admit, I'm part of the problem, because in that moment, instead of standing up and saying something, I wrote a poem about it. Thank you.
So this one is short. Some things that people don't know about me, I'm actually Métis on my grandmother's side. I'm card carrying, whatever that means. So yeah, this is kind of about just general discrimination and people who don't really speak up about it and just kind of watch a TV and live through it day after day and just find it normal now. I am human. I am breathing, thinking, feeling, being. I am your mother. I am your father, your brother, your sister. You see me every day. You feel the impact in alternating means, not always directly. It comes from a side saying, "Oh, how sad, these poor people," while you walk by. I am your mother. forever worried if you will come home safe. I am your father, driven by the feelings of inadequacy, by his own past being given a rotten foundation to prop you up upon. I am your sister, too afraid to speak her mind for the feeling of judgment forever engraved into her soul. I am your brother. I do my best. I look after the ones I love, but it never seems to be enough. I am the ones unseen, the ones no one looks to heal, the ones left cold-shouldered and alone. I am human, and I hope to be the friend to speak for better days.
Yo, what up? Yo. What's up? My name's Sarah D. I'm an Edmontonian as well. I'm 5th generation Cree, Japanese, Irish, French, and Russian. I know a lot about my lineage. I know nothing about my Japanese side, but I know a lot about my Métis culture. And I'm a little nervous because I'm vulnerable, but we all are, so. This poem I wrote 2 years ago. Sheena's already heard it once, a long time ago. And it's about a throat singer, this woman, and she was performing at Heritage Days. And her performance had a lot of impact on me. So this poem is for her. A woman holds a drum close to her heart, and in her chest, her bosom, she holds her drum like a child. Delicate and gracefully, she plays her drum. Rhythmically communicating so naturally, she is a woman. A circle of life, a drum symbolic of life, and so much more rhythms that run through her, a cycle like water running. Water is running, perfectly aligned. She holds the drum, dancing in the sunlight. Keeping the world alive, she holds the drum. The world and the universe, all in her own heart. A creative being. The world keeps songs in it. A creative feeling she shares with the world. A creative spark alive. Creative beings unite. She plants seeds. Rhythm charge, beautifully in sync. The world spins, the universe shines bright. It's bright. Twinkle like light, stars, seeds from sky to soil, the seeds of life. A woman holds a drum. I see her and I feel her, and I feel in my place. A beginning, an experience I seek, we seek. Choices I can make. For the star seeds, our children, our life. Holding our dreams, our lives, from sky to soil. Blossom indigo children, the seeds of life.
Oh, much respect. So I've been a member of Breath and Poetry for a while now, since back in the days of Rouge Lounge, almost 3 years ago. Well, it's been longer than that, but that's when I came to Edmonton. I like to think of myself as a world citizen trying to balance ignorance, because I'm from all over the planet, just kind of like my sister who just came up. So my mom was Hebraic European Métis, and my dad was a Middle Eastern European Gypsy. So it's interesting. I think the only place I'm not really from, genetically speaking, is probably like in very distant lands from Oceania. So, but it's beautiful to actually acknowledge when you look at things. A lot of people think, you know, oh, I'm 100% this, or I'm something like that. But if you actually go and do a DNA test, you'd be surprised to actually see all the different things that would pop up and be like, oh, I thought I was like, you know, I don't know, say like 90% Middle Eastern or something, but you might be like part African, part Asian, part indigenous, part Mongolian, who knows, right? So it's very interesting to look at that. So my apologies today, my piece is a little bit longer, but it's really quite relevant to what this goes, and it's about my experience in a sense. It's called How to Be a Successful Immigrant in the Western System, and it's very sarcastic. And it relates to my own experience as a citizen of Canada and Europe, and also having traveled quite a bit to the United States. So it's kind of like split up into 3 smaller poems about each of those places. People say the USA is a melting pot. This is what I picture when I hear that hellish thought as a description. A bunch of monstrously obese, morbid European corporate leaders, politicians and coarse elitists hegemonically chopping up all the diasporic ingredients in a pot with a lot of genetically modified, salty and oily, deep-fried and boiled pieces of rotten meat from all of the tortured peoples and slaughtered species bordering extinction. They'll forcefully take your distinctive essences and herbs like sage, saffron, curry, and basil, and mix them with preservatives and chemicals. It's okay though, once they're thrown away for that long in this mixture of soulless things, their distinctiveness will so slowly fade that you won't notice or miss it, and nobody will taste it in the end. They'll eat most of it anyways. I mean, they need to taste test it before you can all be sated, and you won't be truly, but they'll say they're just keeping it for you to better preserve your culture. The way they see it, it spoils your teeth. It's been turned into a toxic substance. But maybe you'll eat what they left to rot and fester like your forgotten ancestors in their dungeons and unmarked graves and plots that they plundered while they blotted your sons with their whitewashed messengers and hunted your daughters along with all genders of oracles and non-binary prophets for their following festin to soulfully dismember them at the solstices like winter and spring. Colonial seasons they imposed on the 6 pre-existing like the creeds and peoples of Treaty 6 and beyond like the 6 nations. Like you were some sort of sick patients in their asylums. Be patient and silent. Be respectful. If you're psychotic, take some nauseous medications to calm you. Now wait for your turn, and they will serve you, if you're fortunate. Because hey, after all, America is the whole continent, so you're all a part of it. Stop complaining, all of you. Meanwhile, a bit higher in North America, Canadians say that this place is a multicultural mosaic of races, but I say it's a mosaic of racism, and it's an extensively selective process involved in which races and parts of the population are accepted, and others are not, especially if your thoughts or expressions aren't blessed by the God of Christians, and you don't believe in Jesus, or you call him Yeshua. Then you're not a part of it at all. You're just one more discarded piece or shard that got lost in the darkness of your features. See, natives and Métis aren't seen as Canadians when they starve in the streets or try to barter for the peace or change that nobody seems to offer or bothers to keep in store for rainy days when it's cold and dark. Yeah, sure, they were the First Nations, but they signed a lot of treaties and papers and they lost their peaceful and sacred places to war, disease, and racism. They were conquered, and we should all get over it. Or so the story goes, and it's told so soberly, and they pretend to nobly grieve it when they slowly speak it. But it's okay, Canada's post-colonial, yay! And we're an almost perfectly clustered multicultural mosaic where each culture can show their names and beliefs. If they don't disobey our own and coincide with the paintings we own that display who they are like cigar store Indians, and if they explain them in a way that doesn't make Canadians feel grief or feel disrespected, what a bizarre story of idioms. This is our home on native land. Come share it, but we own it. And we won't ban you if you can't pay or invest in our lands or great nation. Now please smile for the picture we're taking to show every ethnicity how accepting we are. And after that, you can stay in our closet. It's decently sized and there's a lot of space for your thoughts inside it. Now pray to God and be prosperous. Or maybe pray to God that you may be prosperous. It's kind of shady, but it seems obvious what you ought to say if you want to make it. Be a carnivore, barter with Satan, but not like a pagan or a Satanist. Just pretend that you talk to our God and relate to us. And now finally, across these borders to the parts of the continent that solely created them with colonial administrations that soullessly desecrated most of the globe for their greatness. And we're so bold to state that they were the noblest of creation. Europe's Caucasian Occident, home of the greatest of all civilized nations. If you're applying for immigration in these parts, you need to try to relate a lot harder than previously applies, and specifically as always, and there are not a lot of exceptions, if you're Islamic or Gypsy, this is probably predictably impossible, unless you're statistically a part of such a microcosm of these nations and tribes that happens to be a postdoctoral scholar, an author, and a Nobel Prize laureate, along with perhaps a polyglot, a translator, and a prof, and maybe a few more aspects relatable and laudable. But if you happen to be a hip-hopper, an artist, and an activist on top of that, and you talk of marijuana and psychoactives as ways to solve crazy problems, psycho and hapless imposters, and belligerent liars like Big Pharma, and their passively ignorant doctors with massively rigged and toxic prescriptions to harm you, synthetically and factually limit the processes of matchless and limitless thoughts. Mad Christians from the populace that existed in Caucasus in prehistory will call you blasphemous and appalling, inadmissible like the ghastly, limited, narrow-minded, and harrowing scientists clearly trying to trap you in infinitely terrible mirages they call empirical science or academics. Obviously, they never heard of the concept of science fiction as speculative, time travelers, quantum physics, or progress as logarithmic. Say sayonara to get happy karma, honestly. That's not just statistics. That's a promise from the God of the West. It's not going to happen for you. It's always a test. They'll probably block you financially like embargoes with banks and corporate gangsters, with all of the rest of Gaia that's conscious and knows democracy is all just a jest. Cops will always arrest or harass you. Colleagues will be morbid and skeptic when they razz you. Family will warn you of stats and problems they're fond of manifesting when they constantly talk about them as facts, till that's what they are, as plans destined. But at this point, the sorely lacking and bizarre yet also handsome existence will be what you always actually plan to expect. People will ask you to answer questions about ethnicity, linguistics, resistance, and the math of destiny, and many will actively discredit you as you answer them, and laugh your ass off at the idiocy of humanity's recessive genetics, grasping onto the strand that economic dominance and egocentric prominence equals godly status, regal sentience and competence, and nonconformity and noncompliance means you will fall at the bottom and be a lost cause while they walk on fecal stretches of waters made up of bleached and modest droplets forgotten. Welcome to the Western hegemonic system, my blessed brethren and sistren and non-binary citizens. This is your map to this section of the Occident. Do not hesitate to knock at random doors and rely on the kindness of all. Request any form of assistance you can ponder or think of, and rejoice in this kingdom.
Hello. It's kind of scary going after that, so please for reading my poem. But everyone's introducing themselves tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself as well. Ja twoje czynienie dodane sztylo, co zostanie wasze ścin, polsztasze cię, ale twoje dasznała, jako tego tyle neszle. Dawi skangu kanikuły, masła napion wikuły. I'm just like causing a little reverb up here. But my name's Anthony, I'm Navajo from Arizona, and I'm on Cree territories, like Cree Native too. Just want to acknowledge that. I want to give a couple shout outs. If you know any indigenous parents, friends, lesbians, and gays, there's an indigenous PFLAG group on Facebook. Please join that. The president of it is back there, and some lovely pearls. And then there's also a Two-Spirit YEG group for anyone who's Two-Spirit identified. Come hang out with us. And this poem is dedicated to anyone who struggles with mental illness as a result of trying to balance your worlds. It's called Late Night Still. Some nights I lay awake, kept up by the trip-trap melancholy of my beating heart and the endless meandering of mind water flow. From creative inspiration of joyful occupation to the deep black fear that I've wasted it all and am in the midst of failing it over again. Curious, I wonder where to be, who to be, and how it's all still possible. Seeking to close my senses of creeping annihilation and slow march to nothing or nowhere, so that I might just, for a moment, hear the voice of the ancients and spark their fire in my own hands and feet and thoughts and words, so to march into this hallucination and forge a new reality. Yet the stillness that sets in reveals only the dull truth of reality and the trap of space in a time familiarly unfamiliar to me.
I'm a pretty cool guy. Yeah, I lost too much of my native tongue to be able to introduce myself in Cree, but I'm Cree. I got a park French somewhere, you know. When I was homeless, I used to say "Le hope mission," to go, you know what I'm saying? It's the dopest spot when you're homeless. But yeah, deep shit real fast. My bad. But yeah, anyways. They think I'm funny, that's cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna get into it. I wrote this a while back, and it's a mixture with another one. But yeah, this is basically about like, being a native homeless guy. Okay, yeah. Now, never will we be beautiful. See, cause every morning awakened is this contortion display of fitting into roles that I don't normally pay. What I could implore to be saved, I only seem to continue with trapping myself, while this lack of serene compassion deletes the paragraphs that I practice to impact my esteem or perspective. It's just repetition with no progression. Every time I see reflections, I just can't help but tell them that never will we be beautiful. You're just this ugly face ignored, like when acne gets hold of poor, when lack of salary gets hold of the poor, and life tragically becomes a war with no family to reinforce. So you will never be beautiful, but only remain the opposite. See, to accept that you're homeless is a comedy that's jokeless, like a blonde in a blue dress, I'm annoyingly frozen. It's the coldest. Yeah, it's the coldest, with no pillow or blanket to beat in this closet with. See, coming out to the world, you're full of doubt and your hurt is a word that I'm not comfortable talking with. I mean, a hallway or a parquet with this light forever on. So that's the type of home that I've grown in. Being cuffed to insecurity was the only time that I shared a bond. And they tell me, they say, there's no savior taking pain to go. But maybe so. See, I'm just simply hoping that there's more than racism for Nepios. And I lay it low, because no one likes what I be saying, but I mean something must define me other than assimilation. Broken language and people lost confused with the culture and virginity because we grow and then we lose it, while abuses, this is a very common thing. See, it's a scary song to sing for bearing wrongs for colored skin. I'm a son of sin for living life that's handed down to me. And they say we're alcoholics, but it's society that's drowning me. I never drank within my life, and I spent years up on the street, and I worked hard to get it right. Don't live it on my own, I got a job and learned traditions. See, my stereo is a different type than what they think I'm living. I'm just a modern native through deceitful complications, but it's hard to be yourself in this world of colonization, because never will I be beautiful, but only be more than that. Hey, thank you.
I know this is something I'm kind of used to. I can never really walk the streets in peace without having someone look at me for the color of my skin. And when I walk into stores, security become my shadow, watching me because of my color, making sure I don't do something that they wouldn't like or approve of. Like today, I walked into a mall. So 2 security guards were watching me. I wasn't even doing anything, but they still kept their eyes on me, making sure I didn't do anything that they wouldn't approve of or that they're not used to seeing. And on a regular basis, people ask me if I smoke or drink because of the stereotypes made against Aboriginal people. And at school, I see an addictions counselor now because I came to school high twice. But I don't get why I have to, though, when other kids at my school come to school high every day, and I'm so sorry, I'm shaking. But do I have to see an addictions counselor? Like, why do I have to? It was only twice. Is it because I'm Native? Is it because of the stereotypes? Is it because you want to supposedly help me with the addictions I don't have? Yeah, I don't really know what else to say, I'm sorry.
They asked if I was scared of pirates and warlords. Not as much as crooked lawyers and politicians, I said. Sneaky briefcase bandits are no different than gangsters except to hide behind suits. Just like the governments were presidents and parliaments that hide behind troops. 21st century, wolves in sheep's clothing, bunch of rich men who claim that they're chosen, leaving deep wounds in the pocket because money to them has become God, and God is known to make profits, and profits don't lie, they know. So they add a couple of extra O's in your salaries to keep you quiet and lay low, and if you're chasing that check, man, you better be quiet unless they say so. But while you chasing that cash, what you lack is the reality check. Confined behind a desk, cubicles as jail cells, and what's a tie but an upside down noose around our necks? And isn't it ironic we sell our youth for wealth? By the time we accumulate that cash, old as hell, we use that money for health, pension plans, and retirement? Bullshit. I hung my jersey when I was 16 and retired. And the government jails the youth for the so-called war on drugs for selling some weed. But I can walk into a pharmacy and get drugs from a dealer in a lab coat if I need. And don't forget about the damn side effects. While we focus on the physical, the system has breaches with mental viruses. Point away from the problem, blame an innocent victim. Like the good dogs we are, we follow orders and sick them. Cast their elders in homes where there's nobody to listen. These Tom Cruises are backwards, they make that pious road an impossible mission. Plus, they got the youth in the hood thinking, give your word and keep it, never start snitching, find homies who can keep 6, stay alive, but when it comes to prayers, none of them can keep 5. Instead, they're on the corner of the block selling rock holding 9s and face it, east like Mecca and Medina. These suckers are giving us no love or serving Asians like Vanessa and Serena. And the government expects me to jump through hoops or get a scholarship for hoops to get my education. But if I slip up, they'll gladly pay for a whole year of my incarceration, because they know the only rights left we exercise is during masturbation. But like a doctor known for malpractice, man, I'm starting to lose patience. And these psychologists become a major, and they made a minor out of our history, but they've forgotten we were born bachelors of life, and our African ancestors were called for their masters. But what has that done for us? Nothing. Because when we graduate, all we're left with is a PhD. A pretty huge day. Thank you.
So, what you need to know about me, Quien soy, je suis. I was born David E. in Montreal to Alberta, the long haul, 2 loving parents, my sister and the kids to back me. Chung, Lovera, Wong, Paris, Misaki, Inca Tone, Ninja, Samurai Bones with Bila Color de Mil turned Latino. So now I know. And now you know. I was born from a long time ago, galaxy far parts unknown, and I said it in Edmonton's. Heart of goldstone with a warrior soul. Forgive me a daily sin for being a strange alien. First generation Canadian, ain't go on and hate. I can't carry any weight. I know your mama told you there'd be days like these, but she never told you that there'd be a Dave like me. So, as for the verser, part of my third person, he never quite learned to keep calm and reserved. It's hard as shit, distorted as unrewarded and unrewarded. So I live with it, clinical, no description. Now what I gotta give for the pinnacle in my vision. So, sometimes I find the knowledge to solve them, and others I feel like Gollum protecting my precious problems, and whatever reminds me of better days behind and want to leave me failing on my daily grind, off track, to the side. Tragedy plus time doesn't coincide with how I feel inside. It's hard holding my head up high, hiding alone in silence, but rhyming open my eyes, I vocalize and rise up. I press my stress upon paper, redressing my blessed Savior. No reply on my own. Well, goodbye then, see you later. What do I gain from harboring pain? It only makes it harder to break chains and reacting strange, adapting my frame and react. An entire empire was built like a sandy grain. I can't complain, it's time to tear the walls, airs and all. A long crawl back to the top, all extra costs and efforts lost. It wasn't for not the growth that I got from lessons taught. At first I was trembling stressed at the thought of what could happen or not. Elevado, Padre, por favor pido perdóname mis pecados, claro con lógico raro. Códigos binarios, ando buscando cambio, levanto luchando. Voices heard in my head that go over, get up instead. Call it carrot and stick method. Repressed in nooks, crannies, and crescents. Kicked the whole pack out of my path and kept pressing. May I mention it paid out paying attention, so I felt pent up in this section when the exit was wide open all the while at my own discretion. Pig.
And this, I literally just did this like a minute ago because you guys inspired me so much. So I'm sorry if it's terrible, but I just did it right now. This is on the spot, guys. And the folks that know me are gonna like it. Okay. Alright. So I must be a Paki. Because I like that Bollywood. Shara, Salman, Amir, you name them. I love them puns. And I must be a fob because I like that roti. Thanks, Abu. And my man, he must be a terrorist. Because look at that beard. Looking good, babe. Stand up. Show me your beard. And I gotta be hairy. Because that's what brown girls are. That's what we're all about. So let me wax those arms, that natural hair. Because really my identity is to conform. And how dare I make you feel a little bit of uncomfort.
Now it seems there's no place within. where engraved is our test. Our challenge, our opposition, or even our hate possessed. See, for every strain that's met, discrimination, degrading, a deceitful face present this matter for hand. Every days I make best, yet I stay stressed, while faith is meshed to a mat on which they stand enables discussion. It's only the slightest puncture in these cocoons of rage to be raised into something instead of huddle pollution. See, I rebuttal solutions for women who gave and see nothing. It seems we're fake and we're bluffing. Cause as time passes, infectious masses take grasp of intestines and squeeze to the last gasp of a life lasts without asking a question. From the simple ass tapped and a class act, every trap's lashed from this passive attention. And while the mass clash and progress past this simple task of protection is avoided till distant. See, the least employed are statistic to annoy we're enlisted, yet too annoyed to say listen. And we slowly mourn, but dismissing is deployed through the system and still we form no resistance. And it's this life that we sit in as a guide, we can fix things in this life that we live in, but don't provide supervision to our women. If they die, we still apply our resistance with our bigger mind, like saying it's fine to stay blind, yet we witness. So that's how we let them go missing. Because while kids are reminiscing of the last time we kissed them, their problem solving, spinning with no thought or knowledge, drifting to react to this case. It's a mother, a daughter, a sister, what's what our families face. See a lady grab with no traces, just another add to the plague, and still we happily manage. Men, that's the blackest we've aged. There's over thousands erased and replaced with actions stuck as if they're snared, but everyone's cares kicked down to zero like women. We'll never have it fair. We say we love them, but we struggle just to do something to share. But I'm not asking for a hero, just a challenge to be aware for those sisters in absence. Because despair and pain is captured, it's attacking, and death is stacking. By standing is giving traction, and it's more than just what could happen. See, it's more than what could happen. But still, as men, we're not too compelled. But see, for a woman to stay missing, that's something missing with ourselves.
So this poem, oh no. Entre ochigotot ni Juan kamo no tatang mana, what no toka keksala, ni nemi kamis kechiwaskaigan, kamo no tatang black Karina Kota Soto, emiti, tatso kamati. Bless all our relations, my motherland is Manahuac. In Nicaragua, I'm Mesticex, my name is Quexala, and I'm grateful to be here with all of you on the motherlands and the gathering lands of the Blackfoot, the Cree, the Nakota, the Soto, and the Métis Nations. All right. Sometimes I forget because I get nervous, it's like my legs and my belly are shaking, like everyone's so good. But I've written like an F word tons of songs about racism, but only one poem. And I wrote it with my good friend Sam, and we're kind of contrasting and comparing urban indigeneity and our home places, and her home place is Msquitchiwaskayagan and mine is Manahuac. Her half is called The City. Calling for artists. Theme, indigeneity. No violent content. Life in the city is the noses of two moose arrived from Calgary. Life in the city is dinner at 4:30 when the sun is up. When the sun is down, we beat and talk about things we tell our kids. Teachers tell our kids they won't be ready to write. By their own nature. By their own nature, they hunt mastery of words when the sun is up. When the sun is down, chasing wilted people shows that the Garneau are most cheaper for students than elderly. Then, for elderly, there are buildings for them, sanctioned from others. Sanctioned from others, life in the city is hell. For most of us, life in the city is hell. The call for artists, theme, indigeneity, is ever present. The source of dissent, tasting assimilation and not hating it. The city, it has taken me from birth, from now to now to see. It has taken a lifetime to see. And my half is called No Escape from Violence. Indigeneity. No escape from violence. Every pound of flesh is dissent. Every breath lent is consent. An ember-tipped cigarettes concentrates me, navigates me, mutilates me. I am dying. But it's of my own volition, not because of another's faithful superstition that I and all that I am must die. I come from a people, a race, a land where faith is placed in Bibles, in idols, and in songs of survival, of language of sacrifice, of God's disguise, and of straight up lies. Do not speak to me the taste of assimilation when my tongue has known no other. When the taste of Coke is cheap and you haven't had a thing to eat so your thoughts never turn to water. Do not speak to me the taste of assimilation when I am a part of lost generations. Oh, the things I take for granted, the things that disgust me so, that make me want to peel off my skin. The things that I inhale so that I forget how far I am and what place I'm in. Do not speak to me the sounds of assimilation. Big words are unheard if my cries do not make a sound. Can you taste me lying on the ground? Can you hear me squeegeeing your window? Third world insider. Can you feel me? Or am I something that you don't know? Indigeneity. No escape from violence. It's easy to forget when you live in a city where almost every face is white and mindless escape feels so nice. Indigeneity. No escape from violence. It's hard to erase when every face is red like an ember or brown like the ground when we're still slaying each other for the white man when there's not one around. That's what I'm happy.
White tears of online exasperation to accusations of supporting policies that are silencing my people. These folks have to say their opinion matter more, that they gotta let me know that they're trying really hard to be really good people. And I'm still wondering how this shit is still about you. I wish Caucasian and solidarity of the wealthy was a thing when the souls of the poor and brown folks screamed exhaustion. We all know shit ain't gonna change when shit keeps staying the same, but y'all don't really give a shit. Because everybody wants to be comfortable and everybody wants a piece of that pie, pull up those bootstraps and grab a seat at the broken table, even though that pie at the table might be poisoning your children, your mother's, grandchildren's children, and now everybody wants equality because it's easier to ignore differences than treat each other with some dignity. You ain't gotta tell me, we need less white people. If the group is dominated by the privilege, don't let it be reduced to a diversity issue, because that liberalism is gonna be spoon-fed to our babies in the schools, in our hoods. The lesson of anti-oppression, as told by the colonizer, will be a colorblind one. Look at the progress we have made, the teachers will say, at the policies, the history, the pride, the nation, the country that is quietly silencing my people.
And say Lana Whiskey Jack Dixon, Onyx Kapoin, what's it yet? Lana Whiskey Jack. And from Sadly Cree Nation. This is a story about undressing, addressing, and redressing the colonial weight of being in this world. Why is it so hard to believe we are human just like you? No worse, no less, the same perfect biological mess. Perhaps there are a few bits and pieces we need to address. But first, listen. There's a gift from this aggression, a few things we need to question. Therefore, take this as a caution. There may be a trigger or two of an uncomfortable oppression, a tang of guilt for my idiomatic expression, but Nookum would say, Kiam, let it go, while others would say, just get over it. An internal bomb is lit, please wait and commit. Grin and bear with it, take it or leave it. The good or bad vaccine for that nasty taste of tyrannical medicine. Sorry, you'll get no apologies. For heaven's sakes, this is about colonial methodologies, pathologies. Criminal, draconian, unjust methodologies evolved from Greek Christian to our now liberal ideologies. Take a deep inhale. Kiam, let it go, exhalation. This is no easy conversation. Speaking about dismembered but once strong sovereign nations. Do you need a spiritual, mental, and emotional cessation? I did. I do. But there's so much more to chew. A history full of imperial triumphant stew. Why is it so hard to believe we are human just like you? No worse, no less, the same perfect biological mess. Possibly there are a few subtle shaded differences to confess. Ooh, to play that agonizing, colonizing political game of chess. Who am I to turn to be blessed? Which higher being can I access? Is my truth, my honesty, my personal cartography full of badness? Ooh, the external identity, the otherness is stress. Sorry, I must digress.
I needed a moment of mothering absorption, self-soothing personal agency of blood memory, grandmother affection, to work through the origins of our human worth destruction, supported by Eurocentric ethnographic historical constructions, erecting hierarchical gender, class, and racial definitions, homogenizing, normalizing, standardizing violence, fraternizing the sick, the famished, and the vulnerable. Perhaps we are more human, but no more, no less. A body, mind, emotions, and spirit we possess. Why is it so hard to believe we are human just like you? No worse, no less. The same perfect biological mess. An education of invisible hatred for the divine human home of our origins, tainted with teachings of our female organs. It's filthy, bad, and full of sin. Danige, why? Done speak when? So you can control my internal, external, magical, unmanly anatomy? Reorganize my graceful, delicate, powerful, holy being into a nobody? And worse, because of your construction of my body as a dirty Indian, makes me rapeable, viable, vulnerable, attainable, available, biodegradable, that fury and savagery is totally acceptable? Within those systems of justice, education, media, and politics, the inhumane epistemological heretics, because you are taught to believe I am less than you, unworthy, unlovable, deserving of black and blue, unqualified to be acceptable, exceptional, and valuable too. Why is it so hard to believe we are human just like you? No worse, no less, the same perfect biological mess. Mind over matter, the root of all evil, the enlightened ideology, creating slavery and hierarchy, making mass torture, abuse, genocide, and patriarchy justifiable. Human commodity becomes capital, making a collective dream unattainable. When did we become not normal? With written accounts, biblical misinterpretation, and those God-sent missionarians, normal is fair skin with multicolored eyes. Normal is a hand-picked measuring stick to exclude what one does not understand, creating a brand from this bountiful land from oligarchy command. Who gets the upper hand? Normal is exclusion of tinted fusion, valuing light as white as right through binary meanings, dehumanizing other in order to fight. Why is it so hard to believe we are human just like you? No worse, no less, the same perfect biological mess. Look at me wearing my battle dress, reflecting architecture eras and events, from a conical abode to an Indian agent control, a not so distant memory I need to console. So I begin, dreaming of being wrapped in buffalo skin, humbly giving gratitude to my body's origin. My mother's gift, she kept me warmly within. How did we forget that heaven we lived in? Note that we, our Father, mina her mispaya, our spirit flew in. To her gave our daily thankfulness for all that she went through for us to be blessed with life, with challenges of paradoxical juxtaposed, not on purpose, but for survival. A cultural, colorful mess which only took a few lifetimes to confess, realizing that sacred and powerful beauty we possess, pulsating from blood memory, a powerful mother's caress.